You are listening to the Berry Thoughtful Life Coaching Podcast with relationship life coach Kanisha Berry. You will be empowered, uplifted, and encouraged. Now, here's your host, Kanisha.
So hey guys, this is Kanisha with VeryThoughtfulLife.com. Today I wanted to challenge you in your thinking because I meet a lot of people. I meet particularly women who tell me they want to be married. And Andre comes home and he tells me about like these different men that he's met who say they want to be married. And I think like, well then why is it so hard? Why can't these people just get together? And so I had this thought, perhaps you're not, like 3 reasons why maybe you're not married. So the first reason is maybe you really don't want to be married. Many people say they want to be married, but maybe deep down you really don't. Maybe you think you want to be married because of the ideal of marriage. Marriage requires sacrifice daily, like completely selflessness. It's challenging. It causes you to live in a constant moment of conflict because you have to like surrender your will to someone else's. So do you really want to be married, or do you want what you think marriage is? So I think a lot of times when people say they want to be married, they want perhaps an idea of marriage that doesn't exist. So I think one of the number one reason many people who say they want to be married that aren't married is because they really don't want to be. They don't want to give up their lifestyle, the way they think, give in to view life the way someone else does. We are so busy of a creature trying to force people to see things the way we see them and do things the way we do them. That is not marriage, which is why many people are married and are constantly living in strife and resentment and anger. So I see these 2 extremes with marriage. You have people who say, oh, I want to be married, and then you have the people who are married and who are constantly fighting and struggling in the marriage. I even have like conversations with people where they focus so deeply on being married, but then I ask, do you want to be happily married? And I'm always amazed at how many people don't think about that. And they think, well, of course I want to be happily married. And then when I say, well, what does that look like to you? They don't have an answer. So do you really want to be married? And do you want to be happily married, or do you just want to be married? Because I know some people who are just married and it's killing them, like emotionally, mentally, and physically. Or do you want to be happily married? And if you want to be happily married, do you have a clear definition of what that looks like? Do you want to be healthy in your marriage? What does emotional healthy mean in a marriage? Are you clear about that? So are you sure? Are you sure you want to be married? So the second reason I think people who say they want to be married who are not married is because they already married. What do you mean by that? Many people say they want to be married, but marriage requires like a mindset, a commitment, a life shift change, right? So if you're already married to your job, if you're single and you have children and you're already married to your children, you're already married to your family, your friends, the lifestyle that you have, where you don't want to give up any of that. You don't want anyone telling you what to do, when you should be home, how you should do it. Then you don't want to be married. You want the idea, again, you want the ideal of marriage, but nothing works like that. Marriage does not work if you're only getting your needs met. And you can't be married to 2 things. And people hate to hear this, but in your marriage, your spouse is supposed to come first. And I know for a lot of people, they can't conceive that. They're not gonna surrender to that idea. My children are gonna come first. Anytime your children become first in a marriage, your marriage is gonna suffer. I have 3 beautiful children, and I love them all. Trust me. But my oldest is my bonus baby, so he's an adult. He's married himself. But my 2 that live in the house with me, 12 and 15, they know. I love Bryson and Brianna, but they don't come before Andre, and they don't come before my marriage. But people think that sounds horrible as a wife and a mom. Your kid's supposed to come first. No, they're not supposed to come first. Because what happens, in a way, they do become first when I put my husband first, simply because they have a security. of knowing that mom and dad aren't going anywhere, that they have each other, that they're going to fulfill each other's life with what they need, and in return we get what we need, because mom and dad is happy, healthy, calm people. I'm not worried that my family is going to fall apart, that my parents are going to break up, that I got to figure out things, that I have to suffer things. My children have a calmness about them because they see us going on dates, and they know, with my husband, my children know, oh, mommy comes first, and they know with me, daddy comes first. It's not about their needs are met less. It's just that there's a safety for them, knowing that we put each other first, that this marriage has to remain, because we're raising two people that we very well intend to grow up and leave our house. And so we're going to have only each other. And they're always welcome to come back for a period of time, not forever. But the goal is that Andre and I live this long life together, where the children learn a healthy mindset in marriage, so that they can be married to their spouse and not married to us. The Bible says to cleave to your spouse, cleave to your husband and your wife. I'm not to be married to my children. I'm not to be married to my mother and my family. I'm to love them, but I'm married to Andre. So many people say they want to be married, but they're already married. You're already so committed to everything and everyone else that there is no room for a spouse in your life. So that's reason number 2, that maybe you say you want to be married and you're not married. And then reason number 3, this one comes up a lot in the conversations I have. Reason number 3, many people say they want to be married but aren't married, is that they have very false beliefs about marriage. Some people get married looking for someone to complete them. No. You are to be healthy, whole on your own, and you are to connect with someone who's healthy and whole. But let's be real. In today's world, just life, like all the time, this is not just in this time period in life, but in life, none of us are whole. None of us are like complete. And certainly there's no one who's going to come and complete you. Our relationships are built to challenge us, to push us, to move us towards healing. So the truth is, if you have this false belief about marriage, that this person is coming, he's going to make your life better, or she's going to make your life better and easier, and so I can be happily ever after. That's the wrong ideal about marriage. And that may be why you're not married, because you keep meeting people, and what they do is they ruffle your feathers, they upset you, they cause you think they're causing you to be angry all the time, or they disappoint you, when that is the purpose. That's why they're there. Marriage is about growth. It's about emotional and spiritual growth. And the way we grow spiritually is that we grow in our emotions, that we move from doing what we feel to doing what we know. That is an emotional, spiritual growth. And in marriage, when you connect with a person, and honestly in relationship, so if you're in relationships with people and they ruffle your feathers, and they cause you to be frustrated, and this person pisses me off all the time, that is because God, the universe, call it what you like, I call it God, is asking you to grow, asking you to attend to a wound that is now coming up because of this relationship. So that is what marriage really is about. Marriage is a place of healing. But many times we're so busy, instead of trying to be healed in our marriage, we're trying to be happy in our marriage. And if you've ever had a broken bone, which I've never had a broken bone, but I do know, like I remember my cousin Chris, when we was kids, he broke his leg. And in order to heal, it was very uncomfortable. He had to wear a cast. It itched all the time. It was uncomfortable. Healing is uncomfortable. But once the healing takes place, then you can have the happiness. So these are my 3 reasons I think that a lot of people say they want to be married and they're not married. First reason, they really don't want to be married because they don't want to commit to someone else. They don't want to sacrifice, give up their will and their way of life for someone else's. Second, that they're already married. They're committed, married. Their mindset is set in the families that they already have. They are so soul committed in the lifestyle that they have that there's no room to be committed to someone else. And then the third reason is that the false belief about marriage, that marriage is supposed to make us happy, when marriage really is supposed to make us whole. Not the person, but the unity. The unity of relationships are to pull out things in you that needs to be healed. And as long as we're running from the parts that need to be healed, we will never have that. So share your thoughts. Let me know what you think about that. Is this why you're not married? This is Kenesha with VeryThoughtfulLife.com.